The following production is produced by the State University of New York College at Oneonta.
Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of Inside Red Dragon Sports. I'm your host, Geoff Hassard, Assistant Director of Athletics and Sports Information Director here at SUNY Oneonta. And tonight we're going to talk volleyball with head women's volleyball coach Coach Cashman, along with junior Christina and freshman Bridget McHugh. So please join me after the break where I'll be joined by tonight's first guest, Coach Cashman.
WUOW 104.7 FM is the region's premier radio station, offering award-winning programming from National Public Radio and Pacifica Radio networks, giving you the chance to become more informed about the arts, information, and entertainment from around the country and around the world. WUOW is your community radio station. Join us and support the sound.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me now in studio is head women's volleyball coach Coach Cashman. How are we doing?
Good. How are you?
I know we had a good laugh off camera, didn't we?
We did. We did.
Well, welcome back to the show. You came on a couple times last year.
I did.
Once for volleyball and once for our Champs Life Skills and our Student Athlete Advisory Council segment that we did. So why don't you tell us? We're about 2/3 of the way through volleyball season now, and why don't you let us know how it's going? I mean, you have a young team again. So why don't you kind of go through the roster a little bit?
We do have a young team. We have 8 freshmen this year from all around New York State. We actually have a freshman from Rochester, which is our first Rochester area player since Jennifer Wood, and she was back on the SUNY championship team. So that's kind of exciting to get out in the western part of the state. And then, you know, it's just Multitude, Long Island, going back down there, a few players from down there, and then upstate. We got some local players from Oneonta and Windsor, so it's a good mix of players and personalities for sure. I think with our freshman group, you know, when we were recruiting everyone, one of the things we were really looking at, as far as I was concerned, was their personality and their upbeat, positive attitude, and they certainly all have that, and they're a lot of fun. And then you go on to our sophomores. We have 3 sophomores that have returned from last year. And our impact players, and three juniors, and then 2 seniors. So it's a good random mix.
Now, how do you with so many freshmen? Because of course last year we still had a relatively young class. I mean, we were hoping, we talk about some of those sophomores, Brittany Calvello and Casey Boberk, standing out a little bit in that class or whatever. How do you take all those 8 freshmen and try and mix them into the rest of the group?
Into the rest of the group? Well, we've done quite a few team building exercises this year, a lot more than I think we did last year, just because we knew we had 8 freshmen coming in. We started out, in preseason, our first night of preseason, we actually did a sharing session where we asked everyone to bring in a family photo, and we sat around and just shared who our family was and where we came from, and it was one of the most emotional things I think I've ever gone through with a team. And I think from that point, it definitely bonded us in that respect, of getting to know each other a little bit more. And I think we've come back to that because I think we kind of forgot that this is where we came from and this is what's kind of binding us together. And we do some random team building activities in practice, and then the week we had our invitational, we did a little team building exercise out at college camp. We went out there, and our faculty team mentor, Karen Jost, came out and did some activities with us, and then our new assistant professor from PE, Geneviève Marchand.
Yes, from Canada.
Yes, from Canada. She also came out and did some of the ropes course stuff with us. We did the spider web, and then just...
Now the team building activities, I know, especially with your particular program, has always been an important part of your program. So, I mean, what's the overall importance in how you build your program from the bottom up? I mean, how do those activities fit?
Well, I think one thing that we had been struggling with this year was just that sense of team and everyone understanding that you have you have your role on your team, but yet, we're so intertwined that how can you help one another? And when we went down to New Paltz for SUNY, Karen Jost actually traveled with us and helped us out a lot that weekend. She talked to the team, she talked to the captains, and without the coaches involved, and just kind of brought in the whole concept of a house and how each of us are part of the house and what part are you going to be. And so you could be the foundation, you could be the window, you could be the walls. So we've kind of built upon that as the weeks have gone on from New Paltz, and I think that really gave us all a better understanding of how we all have to help each other build the program. And I think when we remember that, we play really well because we know we're playing for each other and for that success.
Now, the faculty mentor program, we've been involved in it for at least 3 years now anyway.
At least 3 years, maybe even longer than that.
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of full-time now. Karen Jost obviously you feel like she's doing a great job. Can you talk a little bit about maybe the faculty mentor program a little bit and how you've been able to incorporate that into your team?
Absolutely. We had Karen come in one of our earlier practices and just spend about half an hour with our team. She came in and introduced herself. We thought it was important with our 8 freshmen that they have the face to go with the name. Mm-hmm. So she came in and just talked to all of us about the importance of academics and time management being a big one, and how she's there to help. And then she also just took the time to talk with the freshmen, talked a little bit about the study habits, and she first had gone around and asked everyone what their majors were and to see if she would be able to help them within, possibly some of the advising, which, I think in some areas she can, but
right.
Not in education, probably not.
Right.
I think she's a wealth of information, and just in the time that I've known her, and she's helped us out, with our stress workshop too, that the freshmen go to at the at the end of the semester with study habits for taking your first finals and everything.
Yeah.
She's a big help with our program, and
sounds like she's been a great resource for someone to maybe rely on. Yeah, you're the coach, but a lot of times it's nice for the athletes to have somebody else that they can maybe feel comfortable to talk to or go to or
right.
maybe get some information from. So you think that she's served that very well?
I think so. We're in individual meetings right now with the team, and I was talking with one of our freshmen yesterday and suggested that she go talk to her because she's not quite sure what she wants to do with her life.
Yeah.
And right now she is in child and family studies, in that major. So to talk to Karen would be a good thing.
Now, one of our senior captains, Kelsey Cloffer, went on a trip this past summer to Peru, right?
Yep.
And they were out where right, there's a lot of houses and things
yes.
like that. And,
yep.
and Karen was the professor who took that group. What kind of an experience was that for Kelsey? She won't be here to talk about it, but what did she bring back to the team from that experience as a captain?
The experience-wise, she had a blog, and it was posted
Yep.
on our athletics website, and it was really great to be able to read her experiences and what the whole group was going through, and what they were doing, and the emotional drain I think that it took upon all of them. I don't think anyone, obviously Karen knew what was going on, but or was going to happen, but as far as the students, didn't really realize how hard it was going to be emotionally to be involved with all of these children and to see what they do have and then what they don't have, and then how fortunate they are
yeah.
living in America to have running water, because that was what they did. They went over there to dig ditches so that they had running water.
Yeah.
And I think in terms of how it changed Kelsey, I think she came back. I think she definitely came back a little bit more, not that she wasn't always mature, but a little bit more mature and just aged. You know what I mean? Like I think it really helped her see perspective a little bit more and what's important in the here and now, as opposed to worrying more about things you can't control.
Right.
And I think we've seen that this year with her leadership on the court. I think she's a different player this year. She's not as kind of frantic like she has been, but she's more stable.
So you think it was very impactful, and so now she carries that forward not only within your team, but as she goes out to find a job or in her own career,
Right.
You think that this will be something that'll just
Yeah.
stay with her and
Yeah.
be with her.
I still think she wished she could bring 2 of the children home with her. I mean, she just got so close to them that I think it was really hard for her to leave.
Wow.
So I would imagine she'll go back. Like she'll go back at some
Really?
point. Yeah.
Wow.
That's
That's incredible.
It is. It makes me want to take the whole team there, actually, to do something like that.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of money.
Now, because now, of course, the student athlete experience is really what it's about in Division III, and of course, you know, the new branding initiative in the NCAA is the whole discover, develop, you know, dedicate for student athletes. Your philosophy seems to fit right with that, with the way you build your program. Could you maybe talk a little bit about how you incorporate those, and what you know, being a Division III student athlete? I mean, you know, what's that really about for you as a coach to get to impart?
Right. I think it's changed through the years.
Yeah.
For sure. You know, I think it's a lot different now than it was, you know, 12 years ago when I started here at Oneonta. I think there's a lot more emphasis on the academics than there is on the athletics to be more of a student athlete. You know, I think for our program, as you know, I've always been big on the life skills aspect,
Yeah.
and just preparing and trying to prepare our women student athletes for life after college, and that, you know, a lot of the things that we do is for that purpose. So even the team building activities that we do,
Right.
I mean, you're going to have to work with other people. How are you going to get along with them?
Right.
And you know, I think within, you know, every year we take that travel trip, and this year we went to Oregon, and it lets the team see different parts of the United States that they wouldn't normally
Right.
see,
Right.
and you know, just I think everything we do within our program helps them grow as an individual. You know, from the community service that we do to even just the mental aspects of volleyball. You know, this is what you have to think about. It's not just playing the game.
Right.
So.
Right. Well, that's certainly, now as we go forward here, we're heading into the home stretch, I guess you'd say, the bottom half of the third or whatever. What do you look forward to out of this team as we head towards the SUNY tournament? And hey, you know, anything can happen in the tournament, and maybe an NCAA tournament, right?
Absolutely. I think, you know, we've had a tough, and I wouldn't even say a tough go of it. We have a very strong schedule, and we've played some of the top teams in New York State. And, you know, with our schedule being the way it is, you know, we have been able to take away some of those key wins this season, you know, beating RIT. I think because we had a strong schedule to begin with, that's why we were able to beat Keene State, who had been on a 7-match win streak. Right. You know, just this past weekend to beat Ithaca. I mean, first time in our school history to finally beat Ithaca and to beat them in 3, and to look at their stats and see that they hit .011, you know, and it was just, it's an awesome feeling. And I think every weekend we progress and we get better. And you know, we had a team meeting on Monday, and we talked a lot about the amount of time that you spend playing volleyball in college, and we really broke it down because I've been, you know, the returners have had this 1% of your life. It's 1% of your life, but the freshmen had not. And you know, it really comes out to be less than 1% of your life is spent playing college volleyball. And right now, you know, it's 12 practices left and 9 games or 9 matches.
Right.
So I think all of us are understanding that we don't have that much time left, and that now we really need to, you know, push
Right.
and push for those wins, and that the ultimate goal is SUNY championships. And I think we're in a great spot for that right now. I think we're all playing very confident and playing really well together. And again, like every week, I think every day I see a change in my team. I do. And you know, regardless of what our record is right now, I don't think it matters.
Right.
Because for us, this is before we were on camera, you know, this is the beginning of our season.
Right.
And that's what we always say. It doesn't matter what you do at the beginning, it's how you finish.
That's right.
So,
Because you never know. You get hot, you knock off a few people, and you find yourself playing somewhere where maybe you didn't think you'd be at the beginning.
right.
Okay, so as we go to the end, some of the players, we just mentioned a few players before we finish up here, some of the players who have really stood out this year. Of course, our senior class of Kelsey, and is there any other players that have stepped up this year as taking on a leadership role?
Well, I think that Megan Belts, sorry Meg, has also stepped up. You know, she had she had struggled last season as a junior, and this year we've had captains meetings, and that has helped, I think, our captains be more of a leader on the court and realize what they need to do. So I think all of our captains with Kelsey and Megan and Jessica, I never call them by their real names, so I have to think about it, have stepped up. You know, I mean, Christina, Fabs, huge. I mean, I think the changes that she's had this year have just a fantastic all-around player, one of the most stable players we have out there on that court.
Right.
Has just done a great job. You know, I mean, Steph Holt. I mean, it's just to mention all of them that are the core group, and then you know you have Casey Burka and Brittany Calvello as sophomores that really, you know, they're such talented athletes, and you know when they're on, it's phenomenal just to watch both of them just play the game so hard. You know, and then BMAC over there, Bridget, you know, coming in as a freshman in these last 2 weekends and really stepping up and making a difference. You know,
and that's really what it's about.
Right, and you know, but we've been saying, you know, for the last couple of weeks and even on Monday that, you know, yes, we might have a core group that's playing out there, but it's the whole team that's making this team right now. It's because we have such a very strong freshman class that we've been able to push each other in practice, and you know when we mix our teams up, it's like neck and neck when we play. You never know who's going to come out on top. It's that competitive, and it's a lot of fun to watch.
Well, we certainly wish you good luck in the coming weeks, and we'll have a chance to talk to Christina and Bridget and see what they have to say about their experience here at Oneonta and in the season, how it's going. So thanks for coming by.
Thanks, Geoff.
All right, well, I'd like to thank Colleen Cashman for coming by this evening. And after the break, I'll be joined in studio by junior Christina Fabiocci.
What makes D3 special is the ability to participate in my team and within the broader community.
The perfect ending to a perfect season.
Being a D3 student athlete has completely expanded my life.
I learned how to lead. I really found a voice.
What time is it?
It's more about the experience rather than just a sport itself.
Without the experience of being a Division III student athlete, I wouldn't be the person who I am today.
NCAA Division III. Discover, develop, dedicate.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me now is junior volleyball player Christina Fabiocci. Welcome to the show, Christina.
Hi, Geoff.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I am a junior from Manorville, which is on Long Island. I'm a bio major here, planning on going into physical therapy. So. And
we were talking a little bit off camera. We've had quite a few students that have gone in, you know, from the biology major and gone into physical therapy. And I was telling you the story about a softball player we had years ago who. I think she's already got her doctorate. She's already doing physical therapy and stuff like that. So certainly a great program.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Volleyball, you're a junior, 3 years now with us. This year you've kind of gotten yourself into the starting lineup a little bit, and you really do play for us kind of an all-around game. I mean, when I look at the stats at the end of a match, you've got some digs, you've got some kills, some service aces. Do you look at yourself as kind of being that player, as an all-around player?
I do now. It's been an adjustment. My first 2 seasons I played mostly defensive specialist for our outside, so it's definitely a different role that I'm taking this year, but I'm enjoying it so far.
Now, do you get to rotate to all the spots? Because I know that, like you said, a defensive specialist kind of just stays in the back row, and then they rotate out when they get to the front row. But now this year,
I'll play front and back row, I like swinging and playing defense too, so.
Now, within our team, we probably have more Jess Zarega, classmate. Is she more of a defensive specialist? Is she more of a?
She's our libero right now, so she is always in the back row, getting digs and stuff. So.
Now, do you like being able to play all the spots in the? Because you would rotate all the way around. You don't rotate it out at all unless coach, subs for you or whatever. But. I mean,
I'm enjoying it so far a lot. It's a very different role than last year, but I'm happy to be able to play all the way around and have a bunch of different parts of my game.
Now, what's the hardest part for you? I mean, is serving hard? Is it?
I would say blocking in the front row. Not one of the taller girls on the team, so I have to really use my vertical and jump up there. But that's one of the parts of my game that I could definitely improve on.
Now, blocking seems to be more of a timing thing. Is that?
Very much so.
And the scheme that you guys play, do you guys try to do a lot of double blocking, or is there single at times?
We try to always get a double block up. The middles help us out, and then when there's a attack in the middle, we move over and get a block up there too. It definitely helps out the defense when we have 2 blockers up. So.
Now, our team, we're about 2/3 of the way through the season. We had Coach Cashman on. We talked about how we have, 8 freshmen. What was that like, welcoming these 8 newcomers to the team?
It was definitely an experience. Going from 11 girls to the now 16, it was a big adjustment for us because we only lost our 2 seniors last year. But I think we've made the adjustment really well, and we're all getting along, and it's been fun to have so many new people, and they're all contributing in big ways so far.
Right, and we're going to have Bridget on later to talk to her about how her experience has been so far. The team building, we talked to Coach Cashman about the team building exercises and some of the activities that you do. How important is it to you and for the team, do you think, to be involved in those activities?
I think it's a big part of what makes us successful. Learning how to trust each other off the court translates to trust on the court. So that's really, really important, knowing that somebody on the court's going to have your back and be right behind you to pick up a ball. And doing that off the court really translates. So.
Now, I was going to ask, like, trusting, if you're trying to perform or get a double block, that that person that's supposed to be on that block is there with you as well.
Right, that's a big part of it, knowing that the person's going to come over and block, that your defense is going to be, reading and where they're supposed to be on the court. So definitely helps out.
Now, you as an individual, with some of the team bonding activities that you do, Coach Cashman mentioned something about, bringing a family photo to the first day of preseason. I guess getting to know your teammates in a different way as opposed to just, she's my middle blocker or my, my libero. How important is that to you as an individual?
It was really important, learning that we all came from very different backgrounds, and yet we all had similar, problems and, things that we just love about our families. And so it was nice to see that even though we're all different, we have, a lot in common too.
Now, when you get into some of your community service events and even just, I guess you'd say, academics, because now that you're a junior, and certainly, you could be a mentor for some of the younger kids that are in our program. How important is that for you to be a role model?
I hope that I can be a role model for everyone. We've got a freshman bio major on the team, so I hope I can help her out, and if she needs advice on what professors to take, what kind of classes she should be taking and stuff like that, I could definitely give her some advice.
Now, we also have a faculty mentor, and I know that Coach Cashman mentioned that she's been in at some practices and done some things. How important is it to have somebody from the faculty involved with your program?
Karen has been amazing so far. She put it out there on the first day that she's there for everyone to come and talk to, and just if you need advice with your classes or anything. So it's really important to have someone other than Coach. Also, it's like, just a big help base if you need it. It's nice to know.
So she's been a resource for everyone. Seniors. Seniors need advice too, and they have issues. So certainly, I think our faculty mentor program has worked very well, and I know that volleyball has embraced the concept, and it's always had one. As long as we've had. Team-wise, how do we think? As we look into the last third of the season, what kinds of things are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to seeing everyone on the same page about where we want to end up at the end of the season, and everyone working hard every practice to meet that goal. And I think it's very doable. We have some important matches coming up, and it's exciting because I think we can really pull through and do well in these matches too.
Right, because we have one more weekend of SUNY East pool play. We defeated Plattsburgh and Potsdam on the first weekend. We actually took a game from Cortland. And New Paltz has been strong the past couple of years. And now we've had some benchmark wins since then. The Ithaca win the other night, or this past weekend, was a huge one.
That was a big one.
Are those the kinds of wins that you think would put us in a position to be able to catch a New Paltz or a Cortland to get ourselves at a higher seed?
I do. We're definitely a different team than the first time we played them. We've played them once already now, so we should be knowing what to expect the next time around. So I definitely think we have the ability to, play some good volleyball against them.
Well, and we certainly hope that you do, and we wish you good luck the rest of the season, and thanks for coming by tonight.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank Christina Fabiocchi for coming by this evening, and after the break, I'll be joined by freshman volleyball player Bridget McHugh.
Hey, how's it going?
Sir, are you okay?
What? Oh, this? It's probably nothing. I'm sure it'll go away.
Go away? But, sir, that can't be good.
No, it's cool. Really.
Do you want a napkin or something?
Everything's fine. Thanks.
You wouldn't ignore this, so why ignore the signs of a stroke? At the first warning signs, call 911 immediately, because time lost is brain lost.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me now in studio is freshman volleyball player Bridget McHugh. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I would have to say you're the first freshman we've ever had on the show, so welcome.
Thank you.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm a freshman. I'm from New Hyde Park. It's on Long Island. And I'm one of the middle blockers on the team.
Now, we were just talking off camera about, because of course you're 6'2"?
6 foot.
Oh, 6 foot, okay. Anybody that's taller than me, it's got to be. And we were just saying that, you must have played other sports in high school, and you mentioned that you're a big basketball family.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, well, it was kind of a tough decision. When did you have to make that decision? Did you make it in high school or when you decided to come to college?
Junior year, really. I think because it was such a big volleyball year, it's just when my passion really came out. It was just like, this is what I can do, and it feels so good just playing and winning. And not that I get more satisfaction out of it, but just, I love it.
Well, as an athlete, I guess, I mean, to play a sport and be good at anything, you have to be passionate. So,
yeah.
I mean, for you to recognize that as a junior and then decide, hey, I want to play it in college, that's pretty special. Now, you have a sister that plays volleyball as well, and she plays at Keene State up in New Hampshire, and they actually played in our tournament. What was it like to play against your sister?
I was very intimidated going into it just because I've known her team, I've watched her team, and they were always just older than me, and they were college athletes. It was just so fun to watch and to play against them. I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm a college athlete too. And then once we got into it, I totally forgot that she was on the other side, and it was a great competitive match.
So you did go watch your sister play previous to when you came here. Oh, okay, so that's pretty special. And I guess the word is that you actually blocked your sister. Is that what happened?
Yeah, felt awesome.
Felt awesome. But you know what? I think when you have a situation like that, obviously you're close, and it was, yes, you're competing against each other, but after the match you can also say, hey, great job and way to go. But wow, that's pretty special to be able to play against your sister.
It was an awesome experience.
So now you've been on campus, we've heard you've been since preseason, so a couple of months.
Yeah.
What's it been like as a new freshman athlete? I mean, just getting around campus, going to classes, I mean, what's it been like?
Well, during preseason and beginning of the season, volleyball was basically everything, and that helped because we had all the upperclassmen showing us where the dining halls were, showing us where we would be living because we weren't actually in our dorms yet. Yeah. But it was great to know that before my other friends had come up, I knew where things were, and I got the hang of it before I was overwhelmed with all these people that I didn't know. Yeah. So it was really helpful. So do you think your transition has been relatively smooth to being a student athlete at a college campus? Definitely. I see my family when we play. When I don't play, we talk a lot, but it's just great because I have my new family, I have my team, and it's so much fun to just be a part of that, and I'm not thinking about it. Now, of course, you're part of a very large freshman class on our team. There's 7 other freshmen besides yourself, and we hope that in 4 years there'll be 8 seniors that will still be together, and we know that various things happen along the way, but we certainly hope that would be the case. What's it like to be in such a large group of athletes that are going to compete, hopefully, for 4 years for us? Well, it is very competitive because we're all fighting for game time to prove ourselves as freshmen, as rookies. And but it's also great because we're all going through the same things. We are all homesick. We are all learning these new plays, these new experiences. We're all adjusting to the gameplay and to the campus. So it's great to just have people that have been through it and that are helping us through it, and people who are going through it at the same time. Now, do you, the freshman class, do you rely on the upperclassmen? I mean, we have wonderful senior leaders, on our team, and obviously we have some very good juniors as well. What's that like for newcomers to come into the program? I mean, have they been welcoming? And definitely, they help us a lot with just everything, with study hours. We have our big and little sisters, so we did like organization, time management with one-on-one with them, and just like getting our agendas, the importance of using them, just all the little things that are going to make the biggest difference as a student athlete and just as a college athlete. Now, did you ever think that you might be able to play at a higher level? Because of course Division III is, it is a student athlete. I mean, we're
academics, athletics, and the whole, the full package, we like to call it. I mean, was Division III a place you thought, I'm definitely going to play in Division III?
Well, I was just so nervous on making the team. I wasn't expecting, and I just was going to do my best and hope that that was enough. And finding out on my birthday that I made the team was just
So being a Division III
crazy.
student athlete, it suits you just perfectly.
I love it. It's a perfect balance.
Yeah, that's really good. Now, Coach Cashman, how has she been during your, transition? I mean, we do a lot of team bonding activities, and how have those been as a first-year player?
They're awesome because I don't know anyone. I didn't. Now I know them very well, but I didn't know anyone. And like the first night, you guys had already talked about the family photos, and being able to cry and turn to someone I just met, I just learned their name, have called them the wrong name, and cry on their shoulder it was like the perfect intro. I was like, they're gonna have my back, and I know that.
So cohesion and team bonding, I mean, those activities, especially for newcomers, seem to work very well for us. And I know that Coach Cashman those are important to us.
Yeah.
And they're important to all of our teams, because I know a lot of our teams do them. So last part of the season of your first year, we got a lot of things coming left. We got about, 9 or 10 matches left. We got a big SUNY weekend coming up. What are you looking for yourself? You've started to play a little bit more, as Coach Cashman mentioned earlier in the show. So what are you hoping, as we end up here, for yourself and as the team?
Personally, I just hope to continue getting better and just using every game, every match, every point as growing experience, and just using it for the previous years and taking everything and just using it.
Right. Now, as a team, how do you hope we finish up?
I believe that we're going to finish so strong. We are 11-15 right now, and we have 9 matches left, and there's no one we can't beat. We've really stepped up, and there's no reason why we can't finish strong.
Okay, well, we certainly hope that you finish strong, and we certainly thank you for coming by as a rookie or a freshman athlete and enlightening us. So thank you for coming by. And I'd like to thank all of our guests this evening, Coach Colleen Cashman and Junior Christina Fabiocci, for letting us know a little bit about the volleyball program this year. And we certainly like to thank you for joining us this week on Inside Red Dragon Sports. And we'd like to remind you to check out our athletic webpage at OneontaAthletics.com, where you can find out all the latest information about SUNY Oneonta Athletics. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Inside Red Dragon Sports.